What's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we got an article about Bleacher report titled "One Offseason Trade Every NBA Team Should Already Be Thinking About." I'm gonna tell you straight, if you are one of the 22 teams in the bubble, your bitch ass should not be thinking about the damn offseason, guys. You should be thinking about the damn bubble and the playoffs and stuff. But yeah, well, as a Piston fan, we have nothing but time in our hands. I mean, we don't get basketball for a good 8 months, so that's all we can do is sit here and dream about some of these crazy trades, guys. So let's see if these are actually good trades or not. Could be complete garbage. Never really know. Could go either way. But before we go on this video, guys, I want to hit that like button, that subscribe button, man. Showing that extra crispy support would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, let's get it, man. So the first one we have is the Atlanta Hawks sign and trade for Brandon Ingram. I mean, yes, in a perfect world, the Hawks would be able to trade for Brandon Ingram, but they do not have the trade assets to trade for Brandon Ingram. Ingram is in the running for most improved player. He's going to be an all-star for many, many seasons. Looking like the perfect fit on the Pelicans. The second, two guy to Zion eventually. Right now, Ingram, I would say, is the number one option on the Pelicans. But they don't really have any good assets to trade to get a guy like Ingram. Yeah, Cam Reddish is fine. DeAndre Hunter's cool. Draft picks are always nice. But at the same time, you got to realize that when you go for guys like Cam Reddish, you trade for them hoping that they become an all-star someday. Ingram is already there. So, why would you trade a guy for a guy that could potentially be an all-star if you already have a damn all-star? It'll make no damn sense. Okay, here we go. Next up, we got Boston Celtics upgrading as center with Miles Turner. Okay, I actually like this a lot. I think Turner really does put the Boston Celtics, as a top two, maybe even a top 2 or 3 team in the Eastern Conference. They're already making a run of the championship, no doubt, but I feel like Miles Turner is just as that final piece right there. I feel like it's a good situation for him. He doesn't got to go out there, drop no 20 points a game, nothing like that. He's got to go out there and do what he does well, though, and that is play defense, knock down some 3-point shots. Basically, a way better version of what they already utilize Daniel Tice as on the Celtics. So, yeah, Miles Turner would be great. As far as the trade goes, I guess for every single one, I'm not going to try to, predict, what the trade should be. But we'll just talk about if it's a good fit or not. Okay, next up, we got the Brooklyn Nets forming a big three with Bradley Beal. Yeah, Beal is the missing piece to a lot of teams out there. Now, with that being said, I actually would prefer the Brooklyn Nets to kind of run it back with their extremely depth team out there. They got some good depth. You got Dinwiddie off the bench and stuff like that, which is absolutely great. The depth is going to be even better once Kevin Durant's healthy, because he's obviously going to be the starting lineup, and the guy that starts over him, or did start over him for the season, is going to be on the bench now. So, I mean, instead of trading away all your pieces to get Bradley Beal as a second or third option on this team, you have Kyrie, you have Kevin Durant. Utilize that depth. It's very important, especially if injury issues and stuff out there. You're going to want more depth. So, yeah, Beal's great. I don't think he's needed for the Brooklyn Nets, though, in this situation. Okay, next up, we got sign and trade for Brandon Ingram. Okay, what are y'all going to give up, man? Cody Zeller and a damn second round, third round pick or something, bro? Ain't nobody want Devontae Graham for Brandon Ingram. That's not going to happen. PJ Washington's cool. They don't need a power forward. Miles Bridges is fine. He's not Brandon Ingram. Yeah, there's no trade that's going to happen right here. Okay, next up, we got flipping Thaddeus Young for youth. Well, I think the whole mindset for getting Thaddeus in the first place was just to have a good veteran leadership guy in the locker room, and it turns out he just decided to suck once he went to the Chicago Bulls. So yeah, they are able to flip him, which I'm sure they can. They're probably not getting nothing too crazy for him. Maybe if you can pull off a second round draft pick, get somebody that was a second rounder not too long ago or something. Just really get his contract to the books too. That'd be nice. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea. Next up, we got dumping Kevin Love. So basically, yeah, just whatever we can get for Kevin Love, man. Hopefully it's better than a Drummond trade out there. You get more than a Brandon Knight. But yeah, Kevin Love to me could still be a third option on a championship team. Not a second option. He's not quite that anymore. I'd love to see him go to a team you hear about the Phoenix Suns. He would fit in really good with the Houston Rockets. I think the Houston Rockets probably the best bet, just because Russell, James Harden, Kevin Love's the third option on that team. That works out pretty nicely. He spaces the floor, loves shooting 3-pointers. So, yeah, I could see him doing that small ball center stuff out there, man. So, I kind of like that. Okay, next up, we got the Dallas Mavericks grabbing Rudy Gobert. Well, hopefully he ain't grabbing back, man, because how all this shit started, man. But, no, straight up, it's the same circumstance as, the Brooklyn Nets, where you are going to be giving up a lot of depth for a guy you don't really need. the big thing about the Mavericks this season is that it was just like a whole bunch of dudes playing basketball, and they were all pretty damn good at it, guys. So I like Dwight Powell a lot. He's one of the most underrated centers in the entire NBA. Like Porzingis, you got defense right there. A guy like Rudy Gobert is nice, like on the books and stuff like that, but in the end of the day, you don't need a supermax contract center to succeed in the NBA anymore. It's just not there anymore, man. So you can very well just get a guy that, you know, can get you like 10 points, 8 rebounds, like 1-2 blocks per game, and you can get something like that for like $7 million a season. So I feel like that's probably the better route. Next up, we got give Nikola Jokic a sidekick, and this is, you know, in the form of Bradley Beal. It's not a bad idea. I do think the Denver Nuggets are in a pretty good win-win situation where they could, you know, give up some of their depth to get a guy like Bradley Beal. He would be probably the second option. Then I think Jamal Murray falls down to the third scoring option of the team. And that's pretty cool. But at the same time, you know, it's like if you got to give up Michael Porter Jr. and Bol, guys like that are showing a lot of promise out there, you could, you know, be kicking yourself in the butt later on, man, about that. But at the same time, it's like Beal does fit in with like the age range of the guys that are on the Denver Nuggets, the really good players and stuff. But it's either way. I would be happy if they kept who they had, or if they went for Bradley Beal. I think it's great either way. Next up, we got, here we go. Detroit Pistons flipping Derrick Rose for draft picks. All right, man, we starting the bidding at a unprotected lottery pick in the first round of the draft, man. Do I hear 2 picks? Do I hear 3 picks, man? No, I would be cool with just any picks. I mean, best case scenario for Derrick Rose on the Pistons is he's here for one more season. And that's not going to do anything. So you might as well get something for him. He's got a fantastic contract. A lot of teams would definitely take him on. It's like $7 million a season. And, you know, for the small price of a LeBron James or a Giannis, we'll even toss in Blake Griffin, man. No, that's not going to happen. But, yeah, I'm cool with this. Okay, next we have Golden State Warriors turning top pick into John Collins. I don't think that works. Just because John Collins is not great at center. And I guess in theory you could do Draymond Green at center and then John Collins at the 4 spot, but I still think there's going to be some issues with that. Collins does fit into how the Golden State Warriors play. I mean, yeah, they clearly could get John Collins for the first round pick. I don't see any reason why not. But at the same time, you know, they are going to need a little bit of a punch off their bench. I would actually love for them to go for like an Anthony Edwards or, you know, somebody along those lines, or even like LaMelo Ball, just to like lead that second unit. You know, learn under 2 of the best guards of all time in Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and yeah, man, just go from there. I don't know if John Collins is cool. I don't know if they need him, man. I don't know if they need him. Okay, next up we have swapping Eric Gordon for a healthy shooter, and they're showing Evan Fournier. Yes, Eric Gordon, when healthy, is cool. Fits in with the Houston Rockets, but, you know, if you ain't playing enough games out there, then you're a liability in the end of the day. Okay, next up, we got the Pacers bringing Gordon Hayward home. I assume he's from Indiana. That's the only reason I could say that. So it looks like we do a Miles Turner for Gordon Hayward trade straight up. That could actually work. I don't know how Pacer fans would feel about it, but then you are looking at a lineup of, you know, Malcolm Brogdon, Victor Oladipo, Gordon Hayward at the 3, TJ Warren at the 4, you know, shifting back to the 4 spot, which he definitely can play, and then Sabonis at the 5. A lot of good floor space in there, a lot of good scoring. It could work, and that's assuming, you know, the Pacers do want to get away from the 2 traditional big guy lineups. So, yeah, I have no problems with this one. Next up, we got the Clippers getting big with Rudy Gobert. They do not need him. Zubac is fine. If you want to spend money on anybody, go back for Montrezl Harrell. Okay, next we got using Kyle Kuzma to get Spencer Dinwiddie. Honestly, it probably could work. Dinwiddie has a fantastic contract. He is better than Kyle Kuzma. The Lakers need a point guard. They don't need a power forward. The Nets need a power forward. They don't really need a point guard like Dinwiddie. Because then you're looking at a lineup of Kyrie, Caris LeVert at the 2, Kevin Durant at the 3, Kuzma at the 4, and Jarrett Allen / DeAndre Jordan at the 5. And then obviously you get Dinwiddie on the Lakers now. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, the Nets are losing talent in this, but just getting a more solidified rotation, I think, could kind of help in the end of the day. And they could still go out there and just sound like a decent backup point guard. And that's assuming Kyrie's healthy, though. Like, that's the thing about Dinwiddie is that he's some insurance if Kyrie's not ready to go all the time. Next, we got finding a bargain prospect. Because you also have Justin Jackson, right? No, not Justin Jackson. Josh Jackson. like, that could be it. He could still be saving. He was the 4th pick in the draft. Who knows what he does, man? You know, Justice Winslow, not really a prospect anymore, but still a pretty good bargain for only giving up Iguodala, who did not want to be on your team anyway. So, yeah, I think the Grizzlies are probably good anyway. Next up, we got Miami Heat betting big on Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday does fit in with what the Miami Heat are doing out there. You're probably looking at him as like the starting point guard, which I don't know if he really wants to play that anymore. Because, you know, if from a shooting guard standpoint, my rotation is going to be Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. Like, that's going to be it for me. Jimmy Butler at the 3. So, yeah, Jrue would have to play point guard. Now, I guess you could get some going off like Jrue and Kendrick Nunn. That would be kind of interesting, you know, having one of those guys in the game at all times. Goran Dragic's probably off the team. You know, if the price is right, go for Jrue Holiday. But if the price ain't right, don't overpay. Okay, next up, we got Milwaukee Bucks picking up the point guard. Yes, that would be a pretty cool short-term, you know, fit for the Milwaukee Bucks, is getting Chris Paul on that team. You know, he was an all-star this season, man, so he fits in better than Eric Bledsoe. And it's not like you would be giving up Eric Bledsoe, who's like some young promising player. It's like, okay, once Chris Paul's gone, we just got to find a new point guard, right? So, yes, I've actually did a rebuild about this on my main channel, Crispy Flakes. I like the idea of Chris Paul on the Milwaukee Bucks a lot. Next up, we got boast the offense with Buddy Hield on the Timberwolves. Not really needed. Malik Beasley's completely fine. I think Malik Beasley left the Denver Nuggets and wanted to get out of there because he wanted a starting spot, and based off what he did with the T-Wolves last, you know, for the few games during this, I keep on saying last season, but this season that we're in that's been shut down and stuff, he was great, man. He was absolutely great out there. You don't want to get in another situation where you have a logjam at the 2 spot, because that's the big issue why Malik Beasley never really got playing time on the Nuggets, and that's also issues why the Kings have problems with Buddy Hield and Bogdanovich. So I don't really think this is the best fit for Buddy Hield. Next up, we got pairing Zion Williamson with John Collins. Once again, you are having to put John Collins at the 5 spot or Zion at the 5. Both could play, not their optimal position. I don't think it's the best fit. I'd much rather see Miles Turner on this team. Next up, we got the Knicks going all in for Devin Booker. Yes, if you have a chance to get Devin Booker for the New York Knicks, you got to do it, man. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want them to get in this circumstance where they trade the entire roster. They already did that once for Carmelo Anthony, right? And it just, you can't just have one guy and nothing else. It just doesn't, it will not lead to winning basketball. So if you're trading away, you know, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, you know, 10 first-round draft picks just to get Devin Booker, I mean, I guess, sure, if you make smart decisions, like when it comes to free agencies, let's not bank on the Knicks doing that, then I guess it could work out, but I don't know, man. I honestly like what the Knicks have going on. I'd much rather them continue to develop the players they have and try to hit a home run in free agency and fire Dolan. Okay. Next up, we got shedding Chris Paul's albatross contract. I'm going to assume that means bad contract. Well, you know, the way Chris Paul played this season, he proved it's not bad. They don't really need to shed his contract because they already have good young players in Shea. They already have a lot of draft picks, so they can keep Chris Paul. They're not in need of like getting like more star players right now, and they can go out there and be like the 6th through 8th seed and just have fun watching basketball while still kind of being in a rebuild. Next up, we got getting DeMar DeRozan for cheap on the Orlando Magic. I still really throw up at the idea of Markelle Fultz and DeMar DeRozan on the court at the same exact time, although I guess it's not that big of a difference of DeJounte Murray and DeMar DeRozan on the court at the same time. They do need a little scoring punch. If they do this, I would like them to also bring back Evan Fournier and get rid of Aaron Gordon. I guess it could work. You know, Markelle Fultz, Fournier, DeMar, Jonathan Isaac, Vucevic. It's interesting. I don't know if it's like, I don't know, man. It's not making me like happy, but it's interesting, I guess. Not everything that's interesting makes you happy in life. Get that on a t-shirt. Okay, next up we got swapping Al Horford for Eric Gordon. Not a bad idea. I mean, Al Horford obviously is more healthier than Eric Gordon is typically, but his contract is a lot worse. And, you know, you get more spacing for the 76ers, which never really hurts. And Al Horford would be an instant starting center, you know, 3rd, 4th option on the Houston Rockets. It works out for both sides. I like it. Okay, next up we got bringing Lauri Markkanen back to Arizona. If the price is right, they need a power forward. I don't see why Lauri couldn't be that guy, but I'm the Chicago Bulls. I'm not giving up nothing, man, just because, you know, I do think he has all-star potential. He was just utilized wrong by dumbass Boylan. Okay, next we got Portland Trail Blazers break up the backcourt for Ben Simmons. Okay, so it would be CJ McCollum, not Damian Lillard in this trade. Yes, I mean, if you are the Portland Trail Blazers and you are able to get Ben Simmons for CJ McCollum, you do that 1 billion% of the time. that would be such a fun team to watch. Ben Simmons and Damian Lillard. Now, at the same time, I'm sorry, I almost called him Giannis. He might be playing like Giannis if he makes the switch. He would have to play the small forward or power forward position, which I think completely is fine. Like, you could, LeBron James is a small forward, leads the NBA in assists. I know people say, well, he's the point guard. I mean, he plays like the point guard, but he's the small forward. So Ben Simmons can be the same thing, and Damian Lillard, you know, can play on ball or off ball in either scenario. The only thing that I do kind of makes me a little nervous about this is that when Ben Simmons does not have the ball in his hands, he's not as good, obviously. So the times that Damian Lillard does have the ball in his hands, you know, what's Ben Simmons going to do out there? Cut to the basket, I guess? Okay. Next up, we got sending, but he really what he needs to work on a damn post game. He definitely has that potential to be a good post player, I think. Next up, we got sending Buddy Hield to Brooklyn. I do like this fit. They probably do not have to give up too much to get Buddy Hield on the Brooklyn Nets. And, yeah, it would just give them another good, solid third option, you know, catch and shoot three-point shooter in the NBA on the team. Okay. Spurs, finding more draft picks. Yeah, this window on these two players is closed. It's not really going to lead to too much success going forward. You know, get those draft picks, do what you do best, Spurs management, and get some really good steals out there from the draft. Okay, next up, aggressively pursue Giannis deal. I mean, the Bucks aren't just going to give them Giannis. If there's even like a shed of light that they could re-sign Giannis, which there obviously is, they're going to hold on to him for another season, I think. Now, at the same time, if Giannis does like force a trade out, then yeah, I guess that's one of the teams you want to look at. Next up, we got finding a stretch big on the Kings. I mean, Marvin Bagley can be that guy, so he just needs to get healthy. I think you need to trade. You probably need to trade away Harrison Barnes. He needs to get off the team. Buddy Hield, you probably get something good for him. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I totally was looking at the wrong team. I saw the Kings. And that's who I assumed it was. Okay, so Utah Jazz finding a stretch big. I mean, you got Bogdan out there, or Bojan Bogdanovic at the 4 spot. He's one of the most underrated players. Assuming he's back and healthy and ready to go next season, I think you're probably fine. So, yeah, I don't think that's a big issue. Next up, we got the Washington Wizards finding win now trade values. Well, you ain't going to start with Julius Randle. That's not going to be win now. I think they just need to find like good bargain deals out there because at the end of the day, they got so much money tied up in Bradley Beal and John Wall. Assuming they don't trade either one of those players, you need to go out there and be able to sign guys that you can put around them and you're still going to be talented. So I don't know if Julius Randle's the answer right there, though, guys. But anyway, man, that is the end of the video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you don't mind, drop that like, subscribing if you're new to the channel, and peace out, my friends.